bit of a sunset. I'd like to call this meeting of Marlborough Council to order. Would everyone please rise for a pledge of allegiance and moment of silence for the armed services.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You. Brenda, may we please have roll call?
Sure. Counselor Andrews,
Present.
Counselor Catalani, Counselor Fliegel,
Here.
Counselor Coroli,
Here.
Counselor Rydell, Counselor Touche,
Here.
Counselor Shearer,
Here.
Mayor Miller. Here. We have a quorum.
Okay. Just a reminder for everyone to please silence all cellular devices during the meeting. Thank you. And council members, if you haven't already, please turn on your microphones. We have a special visitor tonight. It's Pam Tricamo of Lebanon, PA 250. PA is here to discuss events planned in Lebanon County to celebrate the United States 250th birthday.
Andy, is it on?
Good evening.
It's on.
Okay,
No, I'm supposed to make sure it's on for you.
okay. I'm probably loud enough to hear me anyways. My name's Pam. I'm here with the America 250 group, and we're trying to spread the word and let everyone know about the event, what's happening, what's going on, and what we're doing leading up to it. So first of all, I'll give you 2 sentences to get the official information out. The Pennsylvania Commission for the United States Semi-Quincentennial was established by the legislator and governor in 2018 to plan, encourage, develop, and coordinate the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, Pennsylvania's integral role in that event, and the impact of its people on the nation's past, present, and future. The core committee was established by the Lebanon County Commissioners, and we're hoping that the entire community will come together to plan the event. That's the official part. What we're actually doing is the event is going to take place on July 4th, 2026, from 3 to 9 p.m. at the Lebanon Expo Center. For 1 year only, they're moving the fireworks in Lebanon from Coleman Memorial Park out to the Expo Center, and they're already planning and reviewing the types of fireworks. So we're expected to have a much larger display. There will also be food trucks, different types of entertainment. There will be games, especially games for the kids to play. And we're hoping to have displays through the ages. We are talking to the fire companies about having a display, bringing different types of equipment through the years, and other organizations. We are planning, we have quarterly meetings right now. We're inviting anyone who's interested is permitted to come and join. The next meeting is Tuesday, July 29th at 4 p.m. at the Lebanon Expo Center. You don't need to respond or anything, just drop in and join the meeting. The one after that is Tuesday, October 28th at 4 p.m. You may have to check the website. We don't have the place established for that meeting yet. There are 6 different committees: military, education, history, which is the one that I'm a part of, marketing, sponsorship, programs, and events. You can join any of those subcommittees you would like. I've dropped some information with Beth, my contact information, and also Bonnie Loy, who is sort of the chair of the entire core committee. If you have any ideas, feel free to send them to us. But I have to warn you, if you send Bonnie an idea, she's going to ask you what part of that you want to help fund. Don't say you weren't warned.
Makes sense.
general, what we're planning, we're hoping that all of the communities will come together, and if you don't get real actively involved, feel free to get a table or a booth and distribute information from your community. Other than that, does anybody have any questions?
And what was that, a date, that, is it July 4th of next year?
July 4th
Okay,
next
I
year.
just wanted to make sure it was on the same
Yep.
July.
And
3 to 9 p.m.
what's the website?
Uh,
Is it on the
it's on
paper?
there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's LebanonPA250.com. There's also a Facebook page too, so if you want more information, either one of those pages should be able to help you.
Will there be other, like, events throughout the year or leading up to the 4th?
Well, what we're doing, thank you for bringing that up. We have costumed historical people. I don't want to say characters because it's my family for some of them, so. People who will come out to your event, if you're having an event, let us know. We would like to set up a table to help spread the word. We will bring, them to you to help to get the message out.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We hope you'll have someone that'll join us or at least, plan to participate in the event. Help us spread the word there. If it works out the way we're hoping, it should be one of the largest events we've seen countywide in quite some time. So
That
we
would be
want
awesome.
everybody to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Roger, you'll send that out to all of us then,
Yep,
correct?
absolutely.
Thank you. All right, that takes us to public comment period number 1. Please step to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and try to limit your comments to 5 minutes.
Hello,
Hi.
my name's Tom Gillespie, 35 North Franklin Street in Palmyra. I'm here to discuss the ordinance of stormwater management. I was wanting to put a 3-car garage on my property, and I find out that anything over 500 square feet needs a stormwater management plan, which needs to be done through a civil engineer. I had a hard time actually getting a civil engineer to actually call me back, but I finally did. Chrislin and Light Heigl. Light Heigl was the only one to actually just stop over at my house and take a look. He was there about 15 minutes. Did a quick looking around. He said it's gonna cost you anywhere between $5,000 and $15,000, depending on what circumstances arise for stormwater management. And then, which in turn would be pipes in the yard. This is my backyard. I'm looking for a 3-car garage. I'm not building a business. It's not townhomes, anything like that. It's nothing huge. All my neighbors have garages. The lady beside me, she has a nice 3-car garage. That's exactly what I was trying to build. I understand about stormwater management. I mean, everybody else in the block, they have 2-car, 3-cars, 4 cars, all the way up and down. All their water is dumped right out into their yard. Basic downspouts. I can see your point of the downspout when it's really storming and it's gushing out. You don't want that. You want to try to keep all the water on your property. I understand that too, but then I was also told they want it in the street, so I don't know what they want. But I went to the Penn State website, and explained, he said, stormwater management does not have to be expensive. And they gave the ideas. One was rain barrels. Simple. You can put them up, catch the water. I actually have some pictures of the property if you're interested in looking to see. Well, it's not really pictures, but it's drawings. Oh,
I
here.
just want to see something real quick. 24 by 30.
But the first one is just the plain old downspout. Second one is where the rain barrels would go. The third one is a water garden that you could put in. And then the fourth one is a water garden with, in a box. And if you look in the back, very back, it shows an actual picture of that water garden in a box. I guess it's called a perk test, they called it a water test. They wanted to see what kind of volume your yard could handle. They said, dig an 8-inch diameter hole, 8 inches deep. Fill it with water and time out how much time it takes for the water to go down. They were saying if it goes down a ½ inch in an hour, you can actually, your yard can absorb up to 12 inches of volume in a 24-hour period. Well, I dumped it in there in about, it was up to around 4 inches. By the time I got my tape measure in there, it was down to 3. In less than 5 minutes, the water was gone. So I have no problem with my yard absorbing water. I've never had any issues of ponding or anything like that. So basically what I'm looking at is for you to possibly consider some of these stormwater management plans. The garage that I want to build it's also for quality of life issues too. I am getting older. Parking out in the street is getting harder. With apartments, Harrison Street, people in Harrison Street actually park over in Franklin Street. When it snows, I mean, shoveling 3 cars out. Now, I only need a 2-car garage for my cars, but I have to get rid of the shed to do this. So I would need a place to put my lawnmowers and things like that, my woodworking tools and stuff like that. So, but I also did some calculations on the water garden. I mean, for an 864 square foot roof, if you divide it by 12, that's 72 cubic feet of water that would come off. They say if you dig the water garden 1 foot deep with the stone and rock and sand and all that, you would need 72 square feet. If you did it 2 feet deep, it would be 36 if you divide it in half. So you could put in a 5 by 10 or a 10 by 10 water garden. And I know that's not what the borough is looking for by a civil engineer, but these are things that could be done. And I'm just hoping that you would consider that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like the rain garden idea. I like the rain garden idea.
That's a state requirement, right?
Our stormwater management ordinance is basically a model DEP ordinance.
Yeah, from DEP.
Because we have to comply with the stormwater standards. And then we modified our ordinance, because the state wants everything infiltrated, but we can't infiltrate here because of karst geology. So there's some modifications to it that way, but
What, if he's taking off a shed, would that negate
yeah,
what
whatever,
he's putting up?
yeah, whatever you would be removing, you
Okay.
get credit towards the new area that you're building.
So when you said the garage would be 500 square feet, did you say?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it was anything
It's
over
800.
500.
Yeah, it's 800.
Okay, did you
Eight
subtract
something.
the square footage of the shed that you're gonna
I
dispose of?
did not for the calculations, because the calculation, as in for the water runoff, because it would still be at 800.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't take me under 500 square feet.
Right.
You can't even build a two-car garage. You couldn't even build a 24 by 24 foot garage without some sort of stormwater management plan. If you even build a 20 by 20 garage, you wouldn't even be able to fit your cars in there.
That's
If
what
you
I
had a
have.
pickup truck or anything, you wouldn't get them in.
No.
You could build that, but you couldn't put a driveway in. Because the driveway, they count. Even if it's stone, they count that. They count stone as impervious surface.
They do.
It soaks through stone. I don't understand
I
that, but
agree.
that's what it is. But when you said about the state, as far as I know, the state really, it doesn't have anything to do with, here, Stormwater Management Act, Pennsylvania Stormwater Management Act, 167 is enforced at the county level and requires each county to adopt a management plan for each watershed within the county for surface water runoff during extreme rain events. In general, once a plan is created, they are incorporated into local zoning ordinance for a municipality. Because these plans are implemented at a local level, a general statewide template does not exist, and plans are highly variable from one county to the next. In Lebanon County, from what I could find, I tried to look up stormwater management plan, but it just gives you phone numbers of the people in Lebanon County. I found a map that is from December 2024 that shows a picture of counties that have stormwater management plans and counties that don't, and Lebanon County does not. It's in the red. Now, it does for the wildlife management, what's that?
Middle Creek.
Middle Creek. They have something for down there, but the rest of it is in red. So everything that basically I see is coming from the borough. This is borough's ordinances. A state law is a statute. These are ordinances.
And basically, the state dictates to, we have an NPDES permit for the stormwater. So in order for us to continue to comply with their standards for the permit, we have to have an ordinance that also complies with that. So basically, they set the rules, we have to comply with it, and then we enforce it locally.
They set the rules, but it says that they don't set the rules. It's sort of like we want the water in the yard, but we don't. We want it out in the street, but we don't want it in the street, we want it in the yard. I don't understand.
None of us do. That's the problem.
Well, I guess basically what I'm looking for is maybe some consideration in what I'm planning on or hoping to do without breaking the bank. I mean, I don't know why you have to spend, I'm sure 50% of that or more goes just for the guy to plan it, just for the fee. So, when you go on a website and do it yourself, that's what the internet, I guess, was invented. It sure helps anyways. Thank you.
So if you want to do a rain garden, is that something that, would that go through zoning?
No, if you're between 500 and 5,000 square feet, you have to do, they call it a report. And it has to be done by a certified professional engineer, landscape architect, whatever. And then they make sure that it's in compliance with the ordinance. And I looked at our ordinance because I know he's been talking to Bill about this. So and unfortunately, Mike was on vacation the past week, so I haven't been able to talk to him directly about it. But the ordinance doesn't have any kind of like waiver requirements or anything like that, like typical ordinances do. The only thing it says in there is if you have a hardship that you can't comply with the regulations because of a particular, like, physical nature of the property that doesn't allow you to do that, that's one thing. But Anything else has to comply with what the report ends up being. And then if you're over 5,000 square feet, then we require a fully engineered plan, which is even more.
I'm a little confused.
I'll
So is
be
the
honest.
rain garden in place of the plan?
It
Part
would
of the
be-
plan.
it
Or
would
is the
part-
rain
it'd be part of
garden
the plan.
part of that plan?
Right.
Okay. Okay.
So would he be allowed to hire a landscape architect to?
Just, yeah.
Anybody who meets the requirements.
Right.
Basically, any civil engineer type person can do it. Because they have to actually seal and stamp the report.
Right.
So do we just need to say we're okay with the rain garden? We don't need to do anything. You need to report.
There's already a requirement
Yeah.
that somebody who's certified in this
confused.
has to certify his plan, whatever that plan would be.
Okay. So it doesn't matter what we want, what we say.
Not really.
Okay. Got it. Told you I was confused.
If you look out next to, what is it, Turkey Hill on Main Street, gentleman put a big garage out there and basically dug a swimming pool next to it.
Yeah.
For stormwater retention.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, DEP it's hard, there's really no way around it.
Yeah, not in our area, because we're in the Chesapeake Bay area, so that's where all this stuff comes from. So it's all the Save the Bay stuff.
So somebody like Randy Wright would be able to do that for him?
Yeah, Randy would be able to do it.
And I read an article today, Chesapeake Part 2 is coming out,
Yes.
and Pennsylvania is identified as the state that is not in compliance. The only thing that report did comment on is this time they're going to be looking at having more data-driven than just good feeling driven. Because there was no science behind the first part.
So will that help us? Well, it'll give you,
Not anytime soon.
It'll give you more metrics to reach, because they'll be able to actually calculate the things that you're supposed to be doing. For, you know,
Yeah, but remember, we had that issue where we had to do on the west end of town.
yeah,
with
that's
the
what I keep
water.
thinking
Yeah.
about. The non-existent
And the
stream.
non-existent stream that goes through Palmyra, and we had to spend money on that too.
well, at least we got grant money for that.
It was matching though.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had to pay for half, they paid for the other. For a non-existent stream
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah. That I don't even think showed up with all the rain last week.
Gave
Which
us
empties
something to think
into
about, so.
sinkholes anyway.
And all this stuff's a moving target. Like, when this first started, like sediment was all the rage. We had to get rid of sediment, so everybody buys street sweepers. Well, now you don't get any credit for the sediment you remove. So it's like, oh, okay. And there's really no, like Brenda said, there's no science base, like they're not testing the water quality in the Susquehanna or anywhere else, or at the head of the waters of the bay anywhere, to say what the actual nitrate levels are, sediment levels are, phosphorus levels. They're just making computer assumptions.
Well, and I remember the big stink about that is that something above stream could be, you can do whatever, we can do whatever in Palmyra to clean up, but what comes from other locations. Oh, I remember that.
And yet, one of the biggest polluters of the bay is Baltimore City, who just still discharges their sewer directly into the bay. They don't have to do anything. Pennsylvania's the big bad guy for some reason, so.
Mr. Gillespie, see Nancy after the meeting.
Okay.
Anybody else for public comment?
Dave McCloskey, 212 East Ridge.
I see that, if I'm reading this correctly, there's a planning commission meeting coming up towards the end of the month. And
Yes.
the phase 2 of Melrose is to be addressed there. I would certainly hope the council has talked to the planning commission and has advised them that phase 1 is not complete to satisfaction of the people who live around it. And phase 2 not to start until somebody has looked over their stormwater for phase 2 in depth.
And the stormwater for phase 1.
Yeah.
That too. For now, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on a minute.
I'm Barry, 711 North Grand Street. Dug up a little history lesson. Been in that property for 36 years coming up, or maybe it's already there, I don't know. But in 1994, March 10th, I got a letter. It was sent to the assistant borough manager from the borough manager. Borough manager was Karen Kunkel, I think the name was. Ray was her assistant. It says, this week Paul Garber, I guess he was from the township, and I held a monthly manners meeting. Showed Paul Mr. Barry's photos from the spring and asked for background information. Here's what he said. There's an active spring north of Ridge, approximately to the Hanshaw property. Pipes under Ridge to direct the spring water downhill have been under Ridge for years and years and years, and long before there was development on the south side of Ridge. The borough could not build Grant Street until water sheeting downhill on Grant Street, Bed Hill, was addressed. In order for the borough to build Grant Street, the borough acquired a right-of-way from the Hanshaws to install a catch basin and lay drain tile on the north side of Ridge. The stormwater is dumped onto the bank on Ridge. The catch basin and drain tile was put in to handle only normal spring water runoff. The improvement was never intended to handle stormwater for the entire drainage area or the tremendous snowmelt we are experiencing this year as a result of heavy accumulation. It is very important to remember that improvement simply directed the spring water downhill into a natural drainage area so that Grant Street could be built. Mr. Barry is a recipient of the natural flows. Remind you that when I moved in there, weeks afterwards, I came in this building, not this building, the old building, and said, is there a problem with runoff? No. The pipe empties into a swale on the Barry property, which is kind of true. Paul notes that the contractor developers must have graded the swale for the release of the water because the borough did not construct the swale. If Mr. Barry intends to change anything, need permission from the DER. The borough can do nothing for him regarding complaints. He should have seen the pipes under the curb. He considered buying the property and would have been the time to ask the questions. Well, I did ask questions. They were after I bought the property. raining then, but we didn't have a problem then.
Are those the pipes that are coming out of the curb
The court,
in the front of your
like
property?
5 of them.
Yeah,
gotta get us a
those are,
Okay.
those and the pipe up above.
Thank you.
The Borough Council makes his minor stormwater concern the greatest priority and authorize financial improvement to deal with downhill drainage. He may have the borough build relief. Otherwise, there's no solution. In 2003, I noted that Sherry Capello, who we marched up into our property, said it was the worst problem in the borough. And a related subject was, at the same time, a year before that, I was told I had to repair my sidewalk. And I told the council I would not repair my sidewalk until that water was addressed, which I did anyway. I caught some flack, but I was grandfathered in with my 5 pipes coming out that somebody put on the north side of the sidewalk, so when you walked out, there was ice there. I put it on the south side when I put my $4,000 sidewalks in. But I'm told that you can't tell people to fix their sidewalks now, but I got a letter telling me I had to fix mine. And there's nothing wrong with it.
Don, can I ask you a question that,
I also have winter pictures here. The borough had the spring pictures, but I have the winter pictures of how the ice melt and the water runoff filled the yard where Mr. Garber has his house now and surrounded my house.
now, where is Garber compared to you?
Right?
He's
that's
right
north of me.
North.
Okay,
And
okay,
also
he's the
right
one
down
that,
the alley.
okay.
And the pictures I have shows in front of my house, behind my house, the alley's clear, because Don put salt on the alley, but down below it's full of ice.
When was that letter?
That letter is.
Do you have a date on it?
94.
Yes,
94, March 10th.
March, well, that particular letter to Ray was March 10th of 94. And I have a letter from Sherry from July of 28 of 2003. And I also have one from the borough from March 18th of 94. Yeah.
Can I
My
ask,
sidewalk letter came September of 2002 on my dad's birthday.
can I ask you a question about that video? The video you shot of the torrential rain we had last week? To me, it looked like a lot of that water was coming off this job site too, because it was like muddy coming down.
As a matter of fact, Casey McClossy's house had muddy water coming into the sump pump.
Okay.
And I had to come through the block, I'd imagine, of his house. And, yeah, the contractor told Mr. McCloskey, Casey, that the catch basin was doing its job. Yeah, it's doing its job, but eventually, that water's coming down to our property. It's downhill, it's not rocket science.
Well, what I noticed was it looked like it was coming down the street from the development.
Yes, because
Yes.
his silt basin,
Yeah.
his boxes were full of silt probably, and it's gonna run over those things anyway to an
Because I
extent
drove
it's
up,
downhill.
I drove up there. Now granted, it wasn't raining when I drove up because I had to wait till I got off work. And the retention pond close to Ridge looked empty. But when I watched that video, it looked like it was coming down from like an upper site, I'm assuming where they're still building. And
Well, with the curbing and everything, it
Yeah.
has to come down the hill
Right.
somehow. And their drains are on that right-hand side.
Right.
On the east side. I don't know if there's any on the west side.
I don't think there are.
On both sides.
It's on both
But-
sides.
Now, Casey told me that it was full of silt. I don't know that, but I was standing there looking at it, and it was full of something. And once again, the drain on Ridge was intended for Ridge. The road is like this. It's gonna run into that drain from both sides. So it's coming down the new Lincoln. And if it doesn't go across or in those things, it's coming down Ridge. It's gonna continue doing that. And the place isn't even half done.
Noticed too, they reduced
the prices on their units.
Anybody else for public comment? Okay, so before I close public comment, I have a question regarding what I saw when I was visiting every day up there with the water flow. The water was running all the way down to where you can fish on Ridge.
Yes,
Is there a pipe?
yes, that's the one that's in the field. Last telephone pole before, Nan Henschel's driveway is where that pipe comes back out onto the road. That's why you saw the water running the whole way.
Okay, because I kind of visually traced it and I could see that it came out somewhere.
And then there's two different drains, side of her driveway, runs about,
Something like that, yeah.
goes into another drain, which has multiple pipes going into it, which under the road and down through the horse pasture.
So there is stormwater management down there. There is stormwater management down by the Henshaw property, all the way down at the bottom, on the North Londonderry side.
If you want to call an open hole that, yes.
It's not ponding there and it's going into a field. I mean, best we have. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so my other question is, from Tuesday to Sunday, the level in that pond on Sunday was still, didn't really go down that much. Didn't look as muddy, but it was still up very high.
That was the detention basin?
That's a detention basin on Sunday.
The one right when you go in, right to the right?
Yes.
Well, I didn't see that on, when did you text me the,
That was at the beginning.
okay,
That was at the first day of rain.
okay. Because it wasn't that full when I saw it.
That was on Sunday.
Yeah, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we had no rain.
Correct. And it wasn't going down.
Yeah.
That's June 30th, correct, when the rain
Yes.
was on my video?
Yeah.
Yeah, June 6th, it was still very high. Okay, anybody else for public comment? Period number 1. Okay. All right, closing public comment period number 1. Moving on to the consent calendar. Approve the minutes of the June 24th, 2025 Borough Council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, no action and discussion items for tonight, which takes us to the President's report. I think I will save what I have to say for the Planning Commission or Stormwater Management. Because it's not really a President's report. So I don't have anything for President's report, which takes us to the Mayor's report.
1 year away from the 250th anniversary of our great country, and Lebanon came in and did a fantastic job. I certainly hope that a lot of us can participate in our county for next year, and with a little bit of planning and stuff, if everyone is interested, they could go down there and help. I think that's a great idea. And that I find to be that we just got through our July 4th, how lucky we are to live in the United States.
Okay. Financial report. Financial statement as of June 30th will be available at the next meeting. Which takes us to the delinquent sewer and refuse account report.
Any questions?
Thank the girls as always. All right, fire department, EMS report. Everybody got the June fire company monthly report? Any questions on that? It was emailed last week. Yeah, last week. We had a fire commissions meeting last week. Thank you. What day is it? Would you like to?
2030 is a big year.
Okay. What do I want to say? Average dispatch en route right now for Palmyra Fire Department is 2 minutes and 42 seconds, with the first arriving engine at 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Not too bad for an all-volunteer company that's struggling, so kudos. They are looking to replace the 2006 rescue engine in 2030. That is a LaFrance. It's getting hard to get parts for that, so they're looking to replace that with a Seagrave. And the other 2009 wagon is a Seagrave that was refurbished in 2019. To date, as of last week, there were 313 calls. We currently have 5 live-ins.
Is that to date?
As of
Year
July
to date?
2nd, yes.
It was the identical number to 2004.
Yes. Roger, you want to add anything?
You got it all. The end of the meeting was more a discussion on moving forward towards the future, how to best do that. Mike Booth's going on vacation for a couple of weeks, so when he gets back, we're going to schedule an appointment with Rick Kane, who came and addressed the commission the last meeting from Manheim Township, because they've been through this whole process already. Just to ask some questions, get some answers, some advice. They're also talking about probably the step one would be to hire a full-time chief to be able to analyze all this stuff and give recommendations and take care of all the administrative stuff that keeps getting heaped on the volunteer department. So that's kind of being looked at as the first step.
The complexity of our situation is that we are 2 municipalities with 1 fire department.
Yes.
That is very rare through the entire,
Yes.
so there's not many situations where that. So we're trying to lean on Manheim with kind of how we do things, but we're still gonna have to develop an umbrella organization to oversee the department.
Similar to the police commission that you currently have. For the police department, you would have to have a fire commission that would be.
And in case anybody is wondering about populations, North Londonderry Township population is about 9,000, and Palmyra population is 7,830. So you are looking at 16,000, roughly 16,830 people that our volunteer fire company is serving. And That's a lot of people that they've got to cover.
In addition, I believe the township's giving $75,000 a year towards the equipment fund, and so is Palmyra. Because in 2030, we need to buy a new
Rescue.
The rescue.
rescue, which is $1 million.
Or
Today-
more.
Today is
More.
2025.
That's just the vehicle.
The truck is, we have $137,000 saved in 2025, and we need $1 million by 2030.
And that million, like I said, is just the vehicle. That does not include
The tool.
the tool mounting, the equipment, that's additional dollars. And you're looking at an estimated build time of 3 years right now.
So you have to order it in 27. Means we need to engineer it in 26. What year is it again? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm depressed.
We can hire a fire chief. Enjoy.
I think that's,
That.
I'm trying to find something positive. but-
The response time
It
was
is
positive.
beautiful.
I started out with that, I should have
It is
finished with that.
beautiful.
Sorry.
I think we do a good job.
Yeah, they do an awesome job. Proud of them.
They're all volunteers.
Proud of them. Very proud of them. You got anything else for fire?
I don't think so.
Beth, I will add one more thing.
Okay.
The epoxy flooring.
Forgot the flooring. I forgot the flooring.
Failing in the apparatus bay.
I didn't say that.
It's cracked and moisture out underneath it, and it's pretty much just blowing pockets up. So in August, we are relocating some of the fire apparatus throughout town. Garage, we're gonna, EMS actually offered one of those garages because their bay is actually not doing it near as bad.
That floor.
One of our fire trucks over for a week, and
Yep.
fits in there, so we'll be a week without our apparatus bay. We see things closed.
You're not running away.
They have to be inside because it is such
Yeah.
valuable equipment. We don't want it
Yeah.
touched or.
Yeah.
You said it'll all be local.
We'll actually probably improve response times. Because we're moving some to the north side of the track. A lot of our members come from the north side of the tracks.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. All right. The May Lifeline EMS report. Ambulance 48 was staffed 743 of 744 hours, and ambulance 49 was staffed an additional 240 hours. Any questions on that report? Thank them for that, as always, too. All right, that takes us to Western Lebanon County Regional Police Department. Chief, what do you got?
Really nothing. We hired a new officer. He started on Monday. That'll take us up to 16 total, and he's replacing the guy that retired. Everything for right now.
Experienced?
Hopefully it'll be a plug and play and on his own very quickly.
Right, Planning Commission did not meet this month, last month. Next scheduled meeting is Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025, beginning at 7 PM with the East Ridge Road Melrose Phase 2 final land development and lot add-on plan. What say do we have in that?
I'm sorry?
What say do we have on that?
Not a lot, really. I mean, as long as The municipality's planning code guides that whole process, so they've submitted a plan. It's been reviewed by our engineers. I don't think there's any major issues with it. So,
Can we boycott it?
No, without a lawsuit,
not without a lawsuit, and you will have a lawsuit.
and you will. And you will lose.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I will tell you right now, I am 5,000% against phase 2 right now.
well, until phase 1 gets situated,
Why in the world would we want to put more houses up there when we don't even have the drainage properly fixed for phase 1?
Mitch, did they get back, or did you ask about that, hooking up that pipe that they're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, I think they're looking to do, when did they said, the end of July, I think,
Okay.
is when they're looking at doing that. The one thing you have to realize is the current system is in erosion and sedimentation mode. It's mainly to keep the sediment off, so all the inlets that they put in have these bags in them, and they collect all the debris and silt. And they restrict the water flow, which puts more water on the street. The street doesn't have the final paving on it, so the inlets are probably sitting up a little higher than what the road surface is, so there's more water running off the hill than will be when the final road surface is put on. I don't know.
None of that explains the small lake that was sitting at the top of Grant and Ridge in the road. None of that explains the basin that wasn't draining.
Well, remember, the basin's an infiltration basin. It's designed not to overtop and to discharge. It's designed for evaporation and infiltration. So it's not supposed to leave the basin unless it
It's
overflows.
not like all the one on my,
Yeah, it's not
in
as
my
typical.
backyard. That actually has a runoff too, an overflow.
Yes.
But ours, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the one behind my house is meant to infiltrate.
Yeah.
And then there's a runoff if it gets too much.
Okay, so in that basin, on the west end, there are 2 concrete drains?
Well,
Alcohol drains?
there's inlets and
And
piping
it got
that go
high
into the
enough
basin.
that they were over the grates. So where did that water go?
Yeah.
So even if it's over the top of those at the west end, it'll just sit there.
Pond is made up on the east
Yeah, well, that's the emergency overflow or whatever they want to call it, yeah.
about 8 inches from the top of that concrete on the east end.
Right, right.
So you're at
I didn't see the concrete at all for about a week.
the water before it gets to the overflow. One on the north side, especially, that pipe comes from clear the sidewalk. Put that in, I couldn't.
No, I need to understand
Yeah.
what I've seen in the
And-
past
and the
week, because
old-
I was very, very frustrated every time I went up there.
The old inlet on Ridge Road is also, has a sediment bag in too, which was also plugged during that rain. And the other thing everybody needs to understand is all the new development stormwater facilities are designed for a 10-year storm, which is 4.5 inches of
And I
rain
understand that
spread
too.
over a 24-hour
Yeah.
period.
That was
The
more
rains we just had were
like 100.
3.03 inches in like 6 hours, and then we had a couple-hour break, and then we had like 2.83 inches in about the same amount of time. So we had basically 6 inches of rain in less than 24 hours, which is actually more than a 100-year storm.
I will tell
And
you.
you can't design anything for that, so.
I
mean,
will tell you, with this storms that we just had, the pond behind my house
I saw your pond.
was not as full as I have ever seen it, but it was close.
But I know there was so much water flowing down the street up from me going downhill towards the west side of town that the water going the street was so high, it was at the bottom of the wheel wells of the vehicle sitting there. It was right at the bottom of their doors. That means that water was 8 inches flowing down that stream, or down that road. It blew my mind. I've never seen that much water.
I had it on Main and Locust, on the northwest side of Main and Locust. So bad that one winter, it froze my tire. I could not get my car out. My car was stuck in frozen water that was ponding there.
Yeah, I mean, this storm was, as Roger explained, there was a heck of a lot of water coming down, and it is unusual
Well,
to get it to
but
that
the
kind
little
of extent.
creek or stream at Nan Hanschel's
So it was an
driveway
unusual time.
didn't
Yeah,
stop
but-
for like 4
But
days.
still, it,
I'll bet.
It just
Before
didn't
you
stop.
could
Every
kayak
time I
in.
drove past, it was
My
running, and
house
I'm
you
like,
could
where's that
kayak.
water coming from?
Yeah.
We don't have an old 1994 stormwater plan that we were planning to develop or build or anything that
we
we could
wouldn't
look
have had,
at.
would we have even had one?
Or even,
Yeah, there was one from back in the late 80s, early 90s. That was for, it's not feasible anymore because things that would have been built, there's other things built there now, like Rite Aid and things like that.
Yeah.
They were talking, I think back in the 70s, they were talking about, I think we have an old report that they were looking at putting a main trunk line under Main Street. They were working with PennDOT at the time to feed the water into that and taking it to the east and to the west. But I guess it was just too much money at the time. It's unfortunate they didn't do that because it would solve all the problems.
And it would have been
Be able to
paid.
go to that trunk
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, yeah, it
And
was gonna, like a,
PennDOT would have probably allowed it back then.
yeah, it was like a
They won't
Yes,
now.
and it would have been paid
48
for
inch
by
pipe.
now,
Yeah, it would have been paid for by now and.
but they didn't want to spend the money. So now you're stuck
Well, now we
spending
really can't afford
much
that.
more money.
$9.5 million in 1994.
Yeah.
There you go.
Was that how much it was then?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds about right.
And unfortunately, this community doesn't have the taxing levels to allow you to borrow that kind of money. But if I'm not mistaken, the Melrose plan, the first phase, he's met everything and the plans are ready to be signed and filed. So the stormwater improvements that he's agreed to help us with are not part of his plan.
No.
Okay, so he's met everything
It was in lieu of his,
recreational
Park
fees.
and rec
Rec
money,
fees.
yeah.
So he has met everything that he has been required to do under the municipal planning code. So now he's ready to move on to, and I'm not advocating or being adversarial, I'm just stating the fact. He's met everything.
Including, was part, hooking up, finishing that pipe, part of that plan?
Yes.
Yes.
So he hasn't met everything.
Well, that's the
That's
one
the one
part that
thing.
we're waiting for him to fix. And in the meantime, we looked at how many different versions to not use that pipe. And PennDOT put the kibosh on the most
Feasible.
feasible resolution.
How's our pipe under the railroad going?
Good,
Anything there? No problems?
fantastic, yeah.
They cleaned out the trash on the north side and it's flowing.
I just don't want to see phase two go ahead, phase two get done, and he just skips town and our pipe's never fixed.
Oh, it'll be fixed.
And he has, well, I was gonna say, he has other communities in the area, so I would venture to say that skipping town would not be the issue. Getting it fixed or getting this taken care of is
He
the issue.
hasn't fixed yet, hasn't fixed it yet. And he knew from day one stormwater was an issue with us and was a problem and was a concern.
So there's a second pond or second infiltration system in the second phase?
Yeah, there's another basin
Up.
over by Railroad
Right.
Street will be where they're gonna build the other one. Because phase one was for the drainage coming
Right.
the south and east. Then there's a break in the drainage area, so that all goes west.
There's nothing we can do.
Not real, I mean, not to stop it or anything, no.
So, and he's definitely gonna start Plan 2 because I just saw, that the houses that are there have been reduced pretty significantly. Like a lot.
All right, moving on to Public Works.
You should have the superintendent's report, I believe, should have it. Any questions on that?
Yes. What was going on with the sewer line behind ASK?
Oh, that was a private plumber that asked us to come
Yeah.
in.
Okay,
We run into that a lot. The plumbers will go out and they find a problem, and of course, it's always our problem, and then we go out and
okay.
Open the
prove it
manholes,
to them that it's not our problem.
but we flush anyway,
Yeah,
close
we-
the manholes and say all's okay.
We've done that before,
Oh,
we do
all
it
the
all
there.
time.
All the time.
but there,
Oh, probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I sort of remember something years ago.
I did notice the speed sign behind the filling station, and there's one on the other side of Mark Street when you're in between there and Turkey Hill. Thank you. Are there plans for any other alleys to get speed signs? I'm just curious.
What did you just ask? Is there any, about the alleys, what did you say?
Any other plans for any other alleys to get speed signs?
Oh, speed sign.
You're just talking about standard speed limit signs?
Yeah,
I think they all have them.
Gonna say.
West North Avenue's posted.
Oh, okay.
I think,
yeah,
I think they're all posted.
Yeah. You can't
The ones
speed
that
down
do
that
have- the
street
ones that
anyway.
actually have speed
Okay.
limits assigned
Okay.
to them, I'm pretty sure are all
Okay.
posted.
As far as the retention basin at the Polaris Shopping Center, whose responsibility is that? Is it theirs? I figured it
talking
was
the
The
one-
theirs.
basin,
bank?
the basin is the bank's, yeah.
Okay, okay. I figured it was theirs, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, that basin's actually been carrying normal
Yeah.
water
It's
away.
working pretty well, yeah.
Yeah,
But it
I mean,
was-
it's got debris on top of it now, but.
Yeah, but if you saw some of the pictures that were posted of that basin during that last storm, it was into the Wise parking lot, so.
The car turned too soon into it again, into the parking lot again. Got stuck.
Got a grocery shop during a
Yep.
storm.
Yep. Okay.
Bread.
Bread, eggs, and milk.
Anybody else have any questions on that report?
Not on the report, but some folks have come in and talked to me and asked me about when are we doing the kind of the alleys again to clean them up and, you know, get them smoothed out. Is there any plan on that? No plan, okay.
Are we still short?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I
we
do
only,
know that, I just,
we have 4 guys and, you know, you get, this is vacation season and
Yeah.
the rain doesn't stop, so we're just trying to keep up with mowing and then, you know, we had sinkholes to deal with now, so we couldn't keep up with the mowing and it's just,
and we're short a person.
it's a scramble, yeah,
And-
Short, two,
and-
actually.
yeah.
Oh, it's 2, actually, oh. Oh, it's right, because it was 1, but now it is 2.
Yeah.
And I do explain to the folks of that situation, and I do say, you need to come to these meetings and tell the council that we need these folks. And unfortunately, I mean, I just get sporadic individuals out on the street that happen to come and talk to me about that, but I always try to, and I'm gonna say this to the group out there watching, if you want this town fixed up and taken care of, you need to come to these meetings and let the council know what is deficient. If the alleys are falling apart and there's problems, come in and let them know, because if we're short people, they're not gonna get done. So you've gotta be able to come in here and do it. Don't just put your little stuff out there on the internet of your little stuff. Come in if you have problems in the town and see the council and let them know. Sorry, I got a little off trend there. I do apologize. But I mean, but that's what people have come to me that, you know, they just say, hey, you're the mayor, you know, to ask about that, so I did.
Well,
I mean,
But-
they just come to me, you know, I'm just
but
saying.
that all costs a lot of money.
You wanna destroy the town, okay, I don't have a
No,
problem
nobody
with
wants
that.
to destroy the
Well,
town.
but you have to pay, you know, we've
But we
gone through
just
this
had
in
a
the
two
past.
hundred, my taxes alone
Okay,
went
you
up
gotta,
200 and whatever dollars.
I'm with you.
So,
And other
I get it.
communities and other towns, their prices have gone up even higher dramatically, but we just had a discussion about the fire company.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, folks, you don't have to pay, but the town will collapse. It will turn into, I respect what you have done on this council, because yes, you have raised taxes, but it's been incredibly reviewed and refined to just do what we need to do. But sometimes we need to do things, it is unfortunate, but taxes are going up around the United States, and we have kept it to the bare minimum. But if we don't wanna fix the town and let the alleys fall apart, and we don't wanna bring in these other personnel or people,
I
the
agree.
town's gonna fall apart.
but
I understand all that, and it's
a
tough.
balancing act.
It is, and you've done a phenomenal job. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think the town realizes how good a job you have done of getting the work done here, but kept the cost. I know taxes have gone up dramatically, but it's not been the borough that's gone up dramatically. You have kept the prices incredibly restrained.
Was this year.
There is, yeah, but there is other things that are included that we know that, that have dramatically increased prices. You guys know what I'm talking about. But the borough has done a phenomenal job, and unfortunately, people have those amounts put, when they're paying their homes, their costs and raise, the prices of their payments go up dramatically, but it's not because of the borough's kept the cost down astronomically lower than any other borough or town that I know of. Because Dauphin County has gone up dramatically, and we've been very low. So I'm not complaining to you. I think you've done a phenomenal job. You really have. And you've done it to keep the town going. But unfortunately, it's easy to say we're not gonna do anything else, but if we don't, and we've had this happen before, where we have kind of restrained from doing some things, and then down the road, when we had to go do some things to fix it, prices have gone up double or double and a half, and it would have been better to take care of that process before, because it's not gonna get better, it's just gonna get worse. And, I mean, but we do a good job. What's that?
The community should help themselves too.
Yes, absolutely.
Non-public comment right now.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. So,
Well, I'm
sorry.
going to share my 2 cents too, Mayor, is that, no, Roger and I have been accused of spending money needlessly in the public over some of those keyboard warriors. And we do not spend any more money than you all allot to us in a budget every year to spend. And we work maddeningly to make sure we save as much money as we can. And the reason that this town has seen some improvements, okay, with the reduced or stymied budgets that you've handed us, for whatever reasons, is because of this man right here.
Well, and you, I even complimented both of you this past year, because expenses were not as much as were budgeted. So you both did a great job
Well,
keeping those in line.
I'm sending my kudos to him. Yep, he's the money man.
No doubt.
So for those people that are out there blaming Roger and I for saving money, talk to these people.
Absolutely. That's absolutely correct.
All right, getting back on track. Borough properties. Roger, that's you.
Let's see. I don't think I have anything noteworthy this time to report on the properties. I think we're in good shape there. Cemetery, same. Parks, not really anything noteworthy in the parks.
Just mention the clock.
Yeah, the clock.
Mention the
Yeah,
clock.
I saw it wasn't working again.
The fuse blew, we just haven't had a chance to stop and replace the fuse, so. We thought we fixed it, it was keeping time for about a week and a half, and it was keeping the right time, it was perfect, and then something happened and blew the fuse. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, so. It's just the bane of our existence. Let's see, refuse and recycling, it's that time of year again where we submit our performance grant to DEP for the recycling tonnage that we collect, so that is due by the end of December or middle December. So that's one more thing to add to the list. Typically, we get $15,000, $17,000, something like that back from that, so. Sewer system. We received our new camera system. Guys had some training last Wednesday, I believe.
Wednesday.
They didn't get through all the training, but they want the guys to go out and use the camera for about a month or so, and then they're gonna come back and finish up the training. And we also have to get the camera software to record the reports and the videos and all that. They didn't get any of that training yet, so. But we have it, it's awesome. The guys are really excited to have it. It's like, it's like a new toy.
A useful toy.
And a very useful
Very
toy, and they're looking forward to using it, so it was just neat to see. Nothing else really noteworthy on the sewer system. Sinkholes we've had, as a result of the rains, we've had reports of a bunch of things that we've been checking out. The biggest issue we have right now is at 900 East Cherry Street. That opened up pretty good. I had Dr. Seaton take a look at it. He told us just plug it with clay. The guys did that yesterday. He wants to do some additional testing, which I agree with, because it looks like there's a throat that's going out into Cherry Street. And it's the portion that we didn't do the injection grouting when we did other injection grouting there, because we didn't want to spend the money to go to Duke Street. The problem is, the price that he gave me is $16,500, and I think we can pare that down a bunch, so we just kind of need to focus on that area. I think he wants to look at the detention basin area and all kind of other stuff, and I don't think we need to go that far, so I got to get back to him on trying to reduce that cost before we can do that. He said they can do it within 2 weeks, and then it'll probably take 2 weeks to study the data, so we're looking at a month. So at this point, we're just going to continue monitoring that hole and fill it as needed and hope it doesn't get worse. So. There was also another one that opened up at the Forge Road Elementary School, and that opened there before, and, you know, the school's gonna take care of that, so, it's not really impacting anything off their property at this point.
Can we please notify Mr. Weaver that the one at the house, the one at the residence in Rayburn opened, it sank a little bit again?
Oh, it did before the rain.
Okay, I noticed
Yeah.
it right after the rain, so.
I shouldn't say before the rain, it sank before the last couple days of torrential rain we had.
Can we
I
notify
think it was
him that
settling.
he needs to,
We can, well, he should
Well,
be,
he should see it.
well,
yeah, he should be monitoring that, because I
Yeah.
know the
Oh,
County
has he?
Conservation District did an inspection on that, and I think they issued a report, so I'm sure they're gonna be keeping an eye on it too, so the combination of everybody,
I think he might just need a gentle reminder.
yeah, probably. That's pretty much it for sinkholes.
His hands are full with his wife.
Yeah,
Mr. Weaver's wife was seriously injured in an accident,
mower accident.
and she's in Philadelphia.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes, so he's been back and forth from Philadelphia.
They have kids, but they should be a little bit
They're
older now.
Yeah. Mhm.
Stormwater management, now we're back on Melrose again. I don't know if anything more needs to be said about that.
I'm sticking to my no phase 2 until phase 1 is properly fixed, period. But,
Oh, I need to back up on
You know how I
sinkholes for a minute. I just thought of, Commissioner Mike Kuhn reached out to me about the Grant Street Bridge sinkhole. And he asked John Fitzke at Lebanon to try to get an answer from PennDOT on if they're doing something there. It sounds like there is something in the works, but I have had no communication, so, which will also help with Melrose, because I'm hoping as part of getting these conversations with PennDOT that we can talk about more things than just that. So that's what I'm attempting to do. I want to revisit trying to get PennDOT to relook at allowing us to bring water down Grant Street instead of all these other crazy ideas, so. They just said no, they never gave us a reason why. It'd be nice to have a conversation with somebody and find out if we can do something there. That's all I got for Melrose. Main and Mark Street, the heavy rain washed out some of the asphalt that around the plate. Custer fixed that actually on July 4th holiday. And then we have the camera now, so our guys are gonna have to run the camera in there, and see what's going on. So we can finalize the repair plan, get that going. And then our MS4 permit with DEP, the year runs to June 30th, so, Ritu's done all our detention basin inspections and stuff like that. And they're getting ready to file our annual report.
And that has to be done every year
Every year, yeah. Yep,
for a stream that doesn't exist.
yes. And like Brenda previously mentioned, they are gonna be announcing the new permit
Yeah.
stuff soon.
So we'll just have to
Which
spend
will
more
just-
money on something that doesn't
Maybe
really
they'll find
exist.
another stream that doesn't exist.
Street and alley maintenance, we already talked about.
Goes uphill.
We have a whole list of, as people have been complaining, we've been adding them to the list. We meet with Elijah every week, and the list just keeps getting longer, so. We do have a new member starting on the 14th,
Monday.
Monday, 14th. He has 8 years of paving experience, so
Oh,
we're
excellent.
really hoping that can help us do some of this stuff, so.
And we've also added the IMGIS software program. I don't know if you remember that, but that's the GIS of all our lamp holes, manholes, and everything, and we're going to be building on that. We've determined that there is a way for us to actually put work orders into the system that go right down the Public Works Department. They can pull them off and assign the work. So it's keeping the, instead of a pad and writing notes of the things that need to be done, it's keeping things in our system now for them to follow up on. So it's just a matter of time and personnel, but at least we have a running list of what requests have been made.
It's nice, you can actually drop a pin on the location that needs to be looked at. Elijah can print it off and say, here, guys, go do it, because they don't necessarily, our guys are so new, they don't really know the town yet, so it's nice when they have the map to look at, and just go right to it and do their thing, so.
And we can put in there directions like this needs to be milled and paved, this needs to be a pothole filled, this needs to be, rolled, this needs to, whatever, needs to happen at that particular location. It's kind of nice.
I think that's a wrap for Public Works, unless you have any other questions.
Anybody have anything?
I apologize, I brought those up ahead of time because I know it was on here, but there was a discussion about that, so we got into that ahead of time, so I'll wait in the future till it's on that line.
Great. Solicitor's report,
Nothing from her, she's getting back from vacation tomorrow, so she's
leave her be.
well deserved.
All right, zoning and codes enforcement, everybody has the zoning officer codes enforcement monthly report. Thank him as always. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay. Zoning hearing board, no hearings are scheduled for Monday, July 14th.
We do have 2 new applications that you'll see probably in your next meeting packet for the August meeting.
Which takes us to the borough manager's report.
I just have one other thing. QuickBooks is kind of forcing us, all our data now is on our server. We have access to it. As long as we have power, we can access it.
They're making it go
They're
to
kind
the
of forced,
cloud
everything's
or-
going to the cloud.
Yeah.
We're not fans of
I don't like that. I don't like it at all. I mean, even if the internet goes out, we can't do anything.
I know.
Because you can't connect to it. And so we've been looking for new accounting software to replace QuickBooks. And we had a demo last week of, it's called AccuFund. And they have quite an extensive, they can replace QuickBooks, it can replace our utility building if we choose to go that route. We could actually have everything on one system. There's an initial cost, obviously, but it's actually, if we would go with the utility billing software change, we'd probably pay for it within a couple years. It would pay for itself in a couple years. Don't know if we want to go that route or not. Liddittsboro is using it, and New Providence Township is using it. We haven't talked to them yet as far as what their experience is like with AccuFund, but we really liked it when we looked at it. It looks really nice.
So new
It's server-based.
upfront costs,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah, we have to get it set up.
What about subscription? And what
Yeah,
would
there's a
that
subscription
compare?
cost, but it's a lot less than
Less than
just
what-
what we're paying for just
Okay.
the utility billing now.
Okay.
So So that's why I'm saying if we would do this and bring the utility billing over,
Yeah, we could maybe
we
save some money.
would save
in-
that utility billing cost, and it would probably pay for itself in a couple of years. And then from that point on, then it's just what our normal costs would be.
But we're also doing our due diligence with the current utility billing system that we have. We're looking because Edmund's system also has a financial package.
And we haven't
So is it, and we don't have that, we don't pay for that. So how much is it going to be and what kind of a package is it? Everything that I've seen so far is that it's cloud-based. But I haven't talked to anybody and I could just be reading their information because the utility billing system is not cloud-based, it's server-based.
Right.
So, we need to get more information. We're going to do our due diligence on
Perfect.
which systems, because what's happening is, we know that we have about 3 years for QuickBooks until they make us go to the cloud, okay? We have 3 years with this cloud permit system for codes. So at the end of this 3 years, what's going to happen? Our utility billing system works. We've been using it since 2010, but it's costing us more just for one software program than it would be if we could possibly roll everything into a newer one. So, we're trying to figure out what is the best route to go that's going to be more cost-effective and efficient for us to do what we need to do and for our residents.
One of the other nice things with AccuFund is we don't currently have a way for people to go in and set up a bill that you can set up your account and we can just go grab your account, the money out of your account on a quarterly basis. AccuFund has that,
They have the ability to do that.
So I wouldn't have to write a check from my,
We would just go
Sewer and
right to your
trash?
account and take it.
that's awesome.
Or charge your credit card, or whatever it is that, you want us to do.
So I just wanted to be aware of, we're looking at things, see what we can do to.
It's part of that budget saving that this guy works on every day.
Yep.
What else? I think that's it. Enough.
No communications. Any other business?
Nope.
No.
All right, public comment period number 2. Please step to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Dave McCloskey, 211 East River. I'm sorry, I was writing it. I don't know why.
Back to the stormwater, Roger, I understand you're working, trying to, are you still trying to talk with Mr. Hackett?
We've given him all that information at least twice now. I don't know what else we can do with him.
Okay, so he has the information, I know he does, because I gave it to Floyd the last meeting. So,
Yes.
I will,
And we sent it to him previous to that, too.
I will talk to Mr. Hackett and see what hold up.
Well, I know their biggest hangup is the water quality issue.
And
And-
my comment back to him would be, can you tell me what the quality of water is now, so we have something to compare it to?
Right.
I'm not afraid to stand toes with him too. I'm just looking for a solution that's good for water.
No.
Nobody does. So, I will reach out to him again and see what blocking is. You with yours, whichever way works out, we can get it done, is what I'm looking for.
Right.
Okay, so still may need you to set up a meeting.
Okay, all right. That's-
Anybody else for public comment? All right, closing public comment period number 2. Borough Council will conduct its next public meetings on Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, and Tuesday, August 12th, 2025, beginning at 7 p.m. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Sorry, I was a little ahead of.
Tomorrow, 5:30, right?